Well, as Republicans work to maintain their momentum into 2018, now the Washington Examiner reports some Republicans expressing hope that President Trump's team-oriented approach to the tax bill shows he is, quote, finally learning how to legislate after some battles within the party this year. Here is Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
We've established a really good working relationship. We work together seamlessly, and I think we go into the new year with a high level of confidence in our ability to work together with the administration and to have similar priorities.
There has been a lot of back and forth between these two as well. Karl Rove is former White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. Hey, Karl, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you, Julie.
Okay, so what do you say? Has Trump learned how to legislate?
Well, certainly they did have a lot of good things that happened on the tax bill that would give Republicans some sense that things will be better going forward. Let's take a look at them. Coordination. Beginning in the spring, the Gang of Six began meeting. The White House Chief of Staff, the National Economic Advisor, and the Secretary of the Treasury representing the administration. From the House, the Speaker and the Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee. From the Senate, the Leader and the Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. And they met consistently, so they were closely coordinated. No surprises. That's really important. The president didn't attack the people whose votes he needed, unlike in health care, where he was launching arrows at Jeff Flake of Arizona or Dean Heller of Nevada. The president didn't attack the people whose votes he needed. He green-lighted or didn't oppose compromises that were necessary to move it forward. For example, Lisa Murkowski said, I want to include drilling in ANWR. The president favored that, but he green-lighted it. Susan Collins said, I want some commitments from the leader in the Senate as to votes on certain issues regarding Obamacare. It's unclear where the president is on those particular issues, but he didn't oppose it, thereby making it possible to get her vote. He stayed on message. When he would go out and talk about tax cuts, he would generally just talk about tax cuts. And finally, he understood the personal dimension of this all and invited people down to the White House continually, called people, personally asked for their support, encouraged them to get the job done. This is really important for a president to do, and President Trump did it in this instance.
I would like a dry erase board as well. I mean, who needs graphics when you got Karl Rove and his dry erase board? I love it.
They're cheaper, but, you know, that's the good news. There's still some big challenges facing us next year. First of all, let's be honest about it. We're a two whiteboard day today, Julie, just for you. For you.
All right, go for it, Karl. You got the floor.
There was no White House plan.
No.
There was a congressional plan drafted largely by the House, mimicked by the Senate. There are lots of people up on the Hill who are working on their respective plans for the two bodies, but there was no real White House plan. Now, going forward, that could be a problem because on immigration and infrastructure and some of these other issues that are being talked about, the Republicans and the White House haven't done as much homework in preparing a plan. Second of all, this was the GOP wheelhouse. I mean, what are Republicans about? You know, making America strong defense-wise and cutting taxes. Those are two things that are in the DNA of every Republican. Some of these issues going forward, like infrastructure, are a lot harder. Reconciliation. Remember, let's not forget, this was done under the reconciliation budget procedures. You basically get 1 or 2 shots a year at that. That allows you to pass something through the Senate with 51 votes. Everything else is going to require 60 votes in the Senate, meaning you're going to have to bring some Democrats aboard. The quality of the messaging was not all that great. Yeah, he stayed on message, but I think the administration could have done a better job of explaining why tax cuts were important and how they'd affect real people. This bill was passed, but it was passed with a lot more people saying, I don't like the bill, than saying they like the bill. And finally, it's an election year, and everything gets harder in an election year.
It absolutely does. So we have to now look forward to 2018 because, you know, this past year has been a tumultuous one, but boy, did this White House get things done in the end. Mitch McConnell says that he's gotten better and better at doing what's necessary in order to be effective legislatively. So he ended the year with a lot of pluses. He obviously, the tax overhaul, he was able to repeal the mandate in Obamacare. That was a huge sticking point. How optimistic does that make you in believing that Republicans believe that basically President Trump is going to keep this momentum up come 2018?
Well, look, it gives me some hope that Republicans have some confidence restored. I mean, They were really down after the failure to repeal and replace Obamacare. This now has them upbeat. The key thing is, what do they do next? Because success begets success. So if the next thing they can pick gives them some chance of getting something done, then that'll help them get something done after that. Now, intervening, though, is they got the budget resolutions. They got to, in the next couple of weeks.
Do they go back to health care? Do you think they're going to try to repeal and replace in 2018?
I don't think so. I think they're going to end up doing incremental things on health care. Because remember, again, we have to get 60 votes in the Senate. So there's got to be an attempt to get something that gives the Democrats what they want, which is more money for the subsidies, so the premiums are restrained. But Republicans get what they want. And what they want is not necessarily clear. I think it involves getting rid of a lot of the mandates of the Obamacare, getting rid of some of the taxes, but more importantly, including some free market reforms that help drive health care in the direction of what Republicans want.
Okay. Karl Rove, thank you very much.